Welcome to our New York Farm Bureau Discussion Starter video series. Today we will be talking about membership sales training. Sales can be broken down into four main categories that we will explore over the next few minutes. An elevator speech is just what it feels like. What can you say about yourself and your organization in the time it takes to make a trip in an elevator? You have between 30 and 90 seconds to make an impression on someone. An elevator speech is used during informal encounters with a potential member, for example, civic clubs, social events, sporting events, plane rides, etc. Realistically, an elevator speech can be used anytime you want to introduce yourself as a representative of your organization. You only have one chance to make a good first impression. Practice your elevator speech so you can recite it smoothly and with conviction. Needs assessment is the second category in our sales training. Customers typically have needs in three areas: services, products, and price. Asking questions around these areas will help you understand the customer's needs and expectations. Typically, service is the component you have the most control over. Price tends to be fixed, like our dues rates, and you have little control over the product, like our actual membership. Value is in the service you bring to the customer, and it is the factor you have the most control over. Potential members want to know if the value of a product or service will exceed the cost of it. You can help them see this. Needs assessment questions are a good mix of open-ended and closed-ended questions. They usually contain what, why, when, and how. They can identify circumstances that are important to your customer and allow you to answer them later. The key is to let prospects and customers give you their answers. Closing and next steps is the third category in our sales training. You want to ask trial closing questions to see if the potential member is ready to make a decision. If the answer is yes to your trial close question, then you are ready to move on to the closing steps. If they are still asking questions, circle back to asking questions about their needs and articulate your features and benefits. Then, try some closed questions before moving forward again. As we have seen throughout the sales process, this is all about helping a customer understand their needs and how you can help address them. These final human steps are a mixture of meeting and exceeding customer expectations. People generally do not like to guess about what to do next or be surprised. You are helping your prospective member by being easy to do business with and by giving them that personal or human touch. Say thank you. Thanking a prospective member seems to get lost in today's busy world. It seems like a very simple thing, but how many times have you paid for something and you're the only one who says thank you? Or someone thanks you, but it's not very sincere. Remember to make your thank you memorable and sincere. It's easy to tell when someone is just going through the motions with this. Overcoming objections is the fourth category in our sales training. Objections generally fall into one of four categories. No time, meaning they don't have time to talk to you. They may respond with, "Talk to me next month, not right now." Second one is no need, meaning they don't feel they need it or they don't want it. They could state, "Membership does nothing for me," or "Farm Bureau is for large ag operations only," or "No longer farming," or "I don't join clubs or organizations." And finally, possibly, "Farm Bureau will advocate for agriculture with or without my membership." The third objection category is no money, meaning they can't afford it or they don't see the value. They can respond with, "Dues are too high," or how about "Not enough member savings programs for me." And the fourth category is no information, which means they don't have the correct information or not enough information about what you're offering. Their responses could entail, "Past history with Farm Bureau's stance on a policy issue has left a negative impression for me," or "Farm Bureau doesn't have my interests in mind," or even "Farm Bureau doesn't support my kind of farmers." You need to ask questions. You want to make sure you understand what is driving their response. For example, what impact did the policy in question have on your business? You also need to understand the objection. This is their answer or rationale for the objection. This is the clarity you need to be able to respond and empathize with them. For example, I completely understand it's sometimes hard to fathom how one member can change the direction of a state policy. Empathize. This lets the customer know that you are listening and that their objection is important. For example, your neighbor in Ontario County felt the very same way, but he worked through our process and was able to change policy in his favor. You can provide solutions. This is how you align benefits that track back to their expressed needs and which will provide a response or solution to their objections. For example, your county policy development meeting is in 2 months. I can help you formulate a policy to bring to that meeting and for the board to consider. And finally, you need to test or do a trial close. This is the decision time, and it brings you back to a soft way to close. For example, does that sound like a good plan? Now, practice actually does make perfect. The more practice selling memberships, the easier and more comfortable you will be with the process. Ask a fellow Farm Bureau friend or your county manager to join you for a boost of courage and support.